Jai Shri Sachidanand to everyone, and a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you, as it may be. On behalf of Mana Uttan Seva Samiti, and on behalf of all the Sant Bhai Mahatmas, and on behalf of all the devotees, I feel immense pleasure and blessed by Guru Maharaj Ji, and very fortunate to welcome all of you to yet another session of this spiritual talk show Universal Revival Journey. I would also like to welcome all the new Jigyasu brothers and sisters who have joined today from different parts of the world. Welcome you all. Also, I would welcome the entire team of Universal Revival Journey program. Manav Uthan Seva Samiti is a social, charitable, and spiritual organization which inspires and manifests knowledge in action, and it operates a wide range of charitable and social services. Satpalji Maharaj is a founder and leader of the organization Manav Uttan Seva Samiti. He is a teacher of Manav Dharam and travels constantly to inspire and encourage mankind to experience this inner life force, which is our true essence. Dharma is not a book knowledge, but the practical experience of the self. And this experience is called Atmagyan or self-realization. And in other words, it can also be said as self-awakening. Swami Vivekanand once said, religion means realization. Revival is not outside, it is inside us and within us. Experiencing the soul, following the path of self realization, and manifesting it in our life, introspecting within oneself is, in true sense, a revival. Today, the world has experienced a biggest pandemic of the human history, and the mankind has realized the value of spirituality, as well as people have introspected and moved towards finding out what is that power that energizes us. What is the mystery behind the process of respiration? And what is the vital energy on which everything depends? Brothers and sisters, we have three respected speakers present today between us and to share their experiences and valuable words to guide us with these questions. So, but before that, before we invite them, let us hear a beautiful devotional song from Anudesh Chetri, Anisha Rasaili, and Banshika Kalikote from Kalimpong, India. The devotional song's name is You Raise Me Up. Thank you.
When I am down and know my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burden me,
and I am still and wait here in the silence till you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountain. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be.
shoulders, you raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up to more than I can be.
Thank you so much to the entire group for this beautiful, beautiful devotional song. Thank you so much. The words were very, very beautiful. As we could see in the chat box, many people praised and appreciated the beautiful song and the beautiful voice of all the participants. Thank you so much. Moving forward, we have our second speaker, who is from the United States, the states of Pennsylvania. Her name is Brenda Teal. She is retired now, but she has worked in mortgage banking, and for many years, she has been a premi since her childhood, since her early 20s, when Guru Maharaj Ji, the Holy Father, went to Washington, D.C. area. She received knowledge in New York, and she believes herself very fortunate to know Holy Family and to hear their satsang and have the company of the Sant Mahatmas all these years. So I welcome Brenda Ji.
Jai Sachinand to everyone. I'm not a professional speaker, but I'll do my best today to inspire you. Satsang is so important in our life. It's been my lifeline always. And what we need to do, actually, as a Premi who wishes to become a true devotee, is to get back to the basics of what our Holy Father has taught us and the saints. And that is satsang, service, meditation, and the company of the holy. Satsang gives us everything, and it answers every question we've ever had. The saints teach us how to live in this world. It said, be in this world, but be not of this world. And so how do we do that? That's a very large thing. That's a big undertaking. And so satsang and our Holy Father, he's taught us everything that we need to know to be successful in this knowledge. So we have to put that into practice. We must make this a priority because this is actually our life. Our life is for merging with God. In the end, it's to become one with God. We want to know God. That's why we meditate and why we have satsang. Satsang teaches you how to eat healthy. It teaches you what you should do to be healthy, spiritually and physically. There's nothing that satsang can't answer for you. And after a while, when you hear a lot of satsang, you can be anywhere in any subject, anything can happen. It will remind you of a satsang. It'll remind you how to live in this world. And so I was thinking, I have been told for quite a long time, which I find to be true, is that our environment is so important to be able to go higher and higher in knowledge. And so I was told we make our own environment. I was told that by a member of Holy Family a long time ago. And this is so true. So to make our environment, we have to do those things that will help us to meditate and those things that will increase our meditation. And so we must get rid of those things that take us, those things that are good for us take us towards God, and those things that are bad for us take us away from God. And we all know what that is in many ways. So we have to make sure that we're going for the positive all the time instead of the negative. And so I was told, some time ago, especially when the COVID-19 started throughout the world, and it's been a very, very devastating time for all of us. There's no doubt about that. And the United States is going through a big upheaval politically. There's so many things going on here, and there's a lot of negativity. But we still have to remain positive. And how do we do that? We do that by meditating. So we must try to remember, we must sit in the morning and night as much as we can, but throughout the day, it's also very important that we join with that primordial vibration. And actually, the more you meditate, if you can sit and you start to concentrate more and more, you will join with that primordial vibration. You actually start to vibrate with the primordial vibration, and you can actually start to feel that. So every time we have a good experience when we meditate, it increases our desire. We want more, we want more, we want more. So we actually come to a point where it's like, I want to know everything now and I want to experience everything. But are we really ready? So the way we get ready is to practice. We must make this knowledge very much a priority. So we must change our environment. Whatever's conducive for you in your home life or wherever that is, we must change those things. Listening to the news, Baiji was telling us, listening to the news is such a negative thing. Don't listen to the news. Hear what you must hear, turn it off, don't listen. I find that works out perfect for us. That is so negative to hear that constantly. And also, we must be on guard on other things in our life. There's this theory that's called garbage in and garbage out. And it's very, very true. If I'm listening to a lot of garbage from someone and who's very negative, or even if I watch a movie and that movie is very negative, maybe it's vulgar and it's violent and whatever. And I find that that really does affect you. You may not think it does, but it actually does. It will stay in your mind. And one time Baiji was telling us that, you should always rely on what they tell you because everything you hear in satsang is always the truth. And of course, sat means truth. And we need the company of that truth continuously. But listening to their advice will get you very, very far in this knowledge. And she was saying that it is like being with Ravana. If you're listening to all this wickedness and garbage and stuff, it's like visiting with Ravana. And that's very true. It is for me. I find that that stuff stays in your mind and it actually will bother you. So we have to be very aware of the garbage in and garbage out theory in life. And actually, recently I've been talking to my granddaughter on and off about knowledge, and she is interested in that. And so one day she was asking me, she said, is there really a hell? She said, do you believe in hell? And I said, well, I do and I don't. I said, I don't believe in hell that it's taught to us from childhood, that hell is someplace that you go and you burn forever and there's no redemption. You just stay there. I said, I don't believe that whatsoever. But I said, there is heaven and hell on this earth. If you are a person who lives in dire poverty and you don't have food or adequate anything, and you also have no hope in this world, and you also don't have God in your life, then this life is hell here. But if you're a person who has adequate everything, and you have Sakaru, our master, and you have satsang, and you have the adequate things you need, then this life is heaven for you. So this life can be heaven or hell. But it's said that every soul is destined to become perfect. And there's a lot of comfort in that because you think, oh, there's hope for me no matter what. There's hope for me. There's hope for people that I love and my friends. And even those people who don't want to even hear about satsang, there's still hope for them. There's hope for everyone. And hope is a very important thing in our life because they will also become perfect. All of us will at some point. But between now and then, what do we do in our life to make our life better and everyone around us? And I've heard such amazing satsang. I've heard so much since COVID-19. I've gotten 100,000 times more satsang than I did before. So there is good and bad in everything. It's not that COVID-19 is a good thing. Of course it's not. But there is a good thing comes with bad things, as they say. And so now we've gotten so much beautiful satsang. And Maharaji has never forgotten us, and he's made everything possible for us. He's always, always worked his entire life for everyone. And the Mahatmas and Baijis are totally selfless, and that is their work. And so everything is important that we do. And also, I would like to say that I was thinking, about our relationship between science and religion. It's been on my mind a lot. And I've heard that science and religion are this, two sides of the same coin. So all of everything that we've now developed in the science and the medical knowledge that we have and the things that we go forward in life, all of those things that come from God. So we think such and such invented this, and so invented that. And what a wonderful thing. Well, all these things we enjoy and everything that we're going forward in our technology, from cell phones to computers or whatever, and I'm not good at any tech thing, but all the things that are going forward in life are all from God. And if God didn't give you this life and this life breath and this mind in order to create, we wouldn't have any at all. So all things are truly from God. And so when you look at the universe and you see the universe, it's said that's what is within is without. And even on the battlefield, when Arjuna received knowledge from Krishna, Krishna opened his mouth and Arjuna saw the whole universe within Krishna. And he became frightened. But of course, it all comes to understanding. And he had to fight a battle after receiving knowledge. Well, we're not fighting the same battle that Arjuna was, but yet we are fighting a battle within ourselves, from our lower to our higher self. This is what the battle is. So we must overcome our faults so that we can go to the higher self that we are. And this is very important to get rid of our faults in life. And how do we do that again? And everything always comes back to the basics. It never, ever falters from that. And that's satsang, service, meditation, and keeping the company of the holy. You keep the company of the holy, they raise you up. You keep the company of someone else that may be of a lower vibration, no. So it said the company we keep is extremely important. It said if you keep the company of a thief, sooner or later you will steal. If you keep the company of someone who's doing something else that's not good, sooner or later you may be inclined to do that, and it will take you lower. So it said, even I was reading a satsang that said that you should never ever keep the company of a person who is wicked and of low vibration, because it will affect you. And I find that to be very, very true. And so we must keep going forward in this life as much as we possibly can through the 4 techniques. So everything does really come back to that basic. Every day, no matter what's going on in our life, we must really, really try to meditate. And I know that everything in this world comes to take you off from the path. There's no doubt about that. I had one morning, I was just trying to sit and meditate, and I can't tell you how many times I was disturbed by children and other things going on. And I was thinking, see, every good thing again reminds you of satsang. So again, I thought about the satsang that said, yes, this is true. Everything in the world does come to take you off on this path. But how we become strong in this world is through that meditation. So we can do everything, put every effort into this that we possibly can. And each step we take towards God, God takes many steps towards us to help us. But even all these things that we're doing to raise ourselves higher, still, it's said that we cannot cross this worldly ocean without the grace of our master. And so I firmly know that everyone that has knowledge believes that that's true. Because it's like if our father, our true father, we have our earthly parents, and our earthly parents guide us to a certain point. But they can't take us beyond that. So we have to have a spiritual father. And if our father is truly, our Holy Father is our true mother and father, what I'm trying to say is that a child wants to always please the mother and father because they intensely want that love from the mother and father. And a child wants the approval and also the love of the mother or father. And so how do we receive that grace from our master? We receive that by listening to what he told us, by obeying what he tells us, his agya. And when we please the master, he takes us higher and higher. So what a great bargain. What a great bargain. That all we have to do is just listen and go forward in this knowledge. Just by listening and just putting this into practice, we make it very hard for ourselves. And I overthink things too much. And I think many people do like I do. We overthink everything. You're thinking, oh, I've got to meditate every minute. I can't miss a breath. Well, yes, that is the goal, because we are constantly breathing. If we weren't, what's the alternative? We're dead. We can't do anything. So if we are constantly breathing, that what we have to do is become a multitasker in life. While we're doing whatever we're doing, we also have to remember the breath. And we have to dwell in that breath. Now, I think some things are easier than others. I was given an example one day that, okay, if I'm cutting up a potato, yes, it is a little easier for me to concentrate than if I'm trying to solve a math problem. But at the same time, everything is through practice. If you practice, you actually do become perfect in everything. And so that is the goal. That is the goal, to reach that perfection. And what do? Again, I say everything is the basics. And I always come back to that. And I think, people want to make things complicated, and it's not really complicated. We just simply meditate and do what we're asked to do, and we'll be successful. Everything is done for our success. Maharaji's given us everything to succeed. And if we don't succeed, whose fault is that? It's ours. So I think of that too. I'm my worst enemy sometimes. So we all know that. So whatever it is that's keeping us from meditating or trying to remember holy name through the day, we need to change our environment, and we need to remember the concept of garbage in and garbage out. And that way we'll be able to go higher in this knowledge. Now, again, I told you that I become fascinated, more with science lately. And so my granddaughter and I, the whole of the universe is actually breathing. It's a fact scientifically that the earth, everything is breathing, the whole universe, all the planets, everything. And people subscribe to the Big Bang Theory, that's how everything started. That's what scientists believe, that everything started. Again, science and religion really are one. That energy is there, and that energy is within us. But we were listening to the planets. So we pulled up different planets, and we were listening to the sounds of the planets and the sun. And it's so fascinating, because within that, the breathing in and out, there's a sound that's going on. It's the same thing that's within us. There is a sound there. There is light. There is a sound that sounds like music, and it's very eerie, some of it. There is plasma, which is a moisture, where things that vibrate through that and grow and become and extend. There is birth and death of the planets continuously. There's new stars, and there's stars that are dying, and there's black holes that keep eating everything up. It's said that Vishnu is the creator, and that also there's the destroyer. God is generator, operator, and destroyer. And so if Vishnu is the creator, then there also is destruction. And it's the same way in the universe. The same thing is going on. Maybe new planets, I don't know, but new stars that are being created and also destroyed, as well as the dark holes that are continuously eating. And there's so many of them that it's amazing to think about it. But what's going on outside is inside also. And so it's said also that Lord Shiva is a destroyer. Now, when I first heard that a long time ago when I was younger, I thought, oh, the destroyer. And it was almost like a little teeny bit of fear maybe or something. I was thinking, wow, that is something else. But actually, when it's explained to you in satsang and all, then you understand that Shivaji also is the destroyer of all the obstacles in our path. So it's a great delight to know that. and if we don't have it's like when you hear satsang gives you understanding. You may hear something, you don't understand it, but satsang clarifies everything for us and sets us right back on the path again, and it recharges our batteries. It makes us have that energy to want to go further. If we meditate, we want satsang. If we have satsang, we want to meditate. It encourages us to do that. And it is very important that the premies speak to each other and encourage each other also. When Mahatma Fakiranandji was in the United States, and we loved him very dearly, he taught us so much, and he was with us a lot. And he would always tell us that it was important for the premies to get together and have satsang. And that's what we're doing now. And this is a global satsang, and I never would think that anything like this could happen years ago. And of course, I'm very grateful it is. But he would tell us the importance of getting together and discussing things. Now, we're all shy to give satsang. I am too. But it is important that we speak to each other and encourage each other. And we have so many things now that are at our disposal. We have videos. We have live satsang. We can pull up an old satsang. We have so many things. You could even call a premi, as I said before. You can actually call a premi and get satsang if you're having a problem. Maybe you need advice. But it said that any problem we have also is that actually Jagajani Mataji said this a long time ago. She said, any problem that you're having, she says, the first thing you should do is to be calm and think about what you should do. Think about what you should do to solve that problem. And then after you think about it, the next thing you should do is to sit and meditate. And then that will become clear to you. You'll be able to make a good decision. This satsang gives us the power to discriminate and to have good judgment. And that's what we need all day, everything we're doing in our life. We need to have the power of the good discrimination and good judgment. What is good for us and what is bad for us. What takes us towards God is good for us, and what takes us away from God is not. It's very clear. But of course, then there's the mind. And the mind is so willful. It can take us all over. It takes us everywhere. It could just mop the floor with us in many ways. So what do we do to calm the mind? Again, we just try to meditate as much as we can. And if we try very, very hard, then there's no doubt that the Holy Family and the Mahatmas, everyone helps us in our journey. It's very, very important. Now, it is said also that everything is written in the book of life. Everything we say, everything we do, every action. If we meditate, we don't meditate. Whatever we do in this life, it is said that everything is written in the book of life. And the Jews a long time ago believed that that was true, that there was a record of every soul that came and went in this world and everything that they did. And so I do believe that. So it is very important what we say and what we do. We think sometimes people think it doesn't matter what you say or what you do in this world, but it does. Every action we have is very, very important. If we say something kind to someone and that helps them, that's important. Also, if we say something that's negative and it takes them further down, that's also important. So what we say and what we do, every action is important. And I actually 100% believe that everything is written in the book of life. And so our actions are very important. So we should be very careful. Also, I was told a long time ago that our actions are important around other people as well. If you try to give someone satsang, or you're trying to steer them in a direction maybe to become more spiritual, and you want to give them satsang, then the way your behavior is extremely important. If we're angry, egotistical, whatever it is, people can feel that vibration. And who would want this knowledge, and who would want to hear us speak about it if they see this is the way we are? Our behavior is like that. Who would want it? Who would want to hear this? So our behavior is very important. And also our behavior is a reflection of our master as well. Because if you try to tell someone about this knowledge and your behavior is bad, then they look at you and they go, that knowledge didn't do you any good at all. Why would I want that? Why would I want to hear what you have to say? Look at your behavior. And also, our master, we are a reflection of our master and our behavior. So our behavior should be good at all times to stay within this knowledge and try to grow. It is very important what we do. Now, I'm fascinated with extra things that I hear or read or whatever. And a long time ago, I had heard about the Akasha records. And many people maybe have heard about the Akasha records. And this is the records of the history of all of creation, is said that this record is. And this is a divine parallel universe alongside our world. And there is a record of everything that's ever occurred at any event and anything in time. And I thought, yes, that's very possible that does exist, because nothing is impossible when you have knowledge. you find out that actually nothing is impossible anymore. And so that falls in line with what I've always heard about the book of life. And so I actually believe that that is possible, that exists. But the more that we meditate, the more you experience and the more you understanding you have. And what's the most important thing is to understand. If someone is speaking to you, and we have this thing we call $10 words, and if someone is speaking to you and they use $10 words throughout the entire speech, we may not have a very good understanding of that. We would have to get out a dictionary and an encyclopedia to try to determine what they've just spoken to us about. But when we're given satsang from our Holy Master and Holy Family and all of the saints, they give us knowledge very simply in easy terms that we can understand. Everything is given to us so that for our understanding. And if we don't understand anything, what is the good of anything at all? We can't go anywhere. We can't progress in this knowledge. So it's important that we understand everything. And if we don't, then we should ask questions. And I was thinking that maybe we should start a question and answer dialogue with people, to ask questions, maybe with the saints, because sometimes you have questions and you want to know something, and it's very important. I'm sure that everybody's experienced this before, but sometimes when you go to satsang, you have some kind of question in your mind or something that's on your mind. And most of the times when you get that satsang, it's answered for you for some reason. It just is. I've always noticed that. If you have a question in your mind, you go to satsang, somehow it gets answered for you. And they'll speak about that subject, that very subject that's on your mind. Now, many, many years ago, I was feeling things in the world were so bad. And I was thinking, the world is so negative. It's so awful, the world. I was thinking that very much. And why can't this world be better? And life's not that good. And I was feeling kind of negative. And I went to satsang. And I heard Sardaji give a satsang. And what he did, he spoke about the very thing that I was thinking of. And he told me, he said that life is very beautiful. And just those words picked me up so high. And I thought, yes, you're right. Life is beautiful. And even there are problems, life is beautiful. Life is to be lived here. This life is good. We should look for the good things in life. We should only go towards those things that are good in our life. We should not cling to anything negative. And the negative things in our life, we need to wipe them out the best that we can. And of course, we know the 4 basics again. It keeps coming back that all the time. And I think that, you know, this is like a school. This is like when you receive knowledge, it's the beginning of everything. But it's, you may have gone to school, of course, you know, you're educated to a certain point. But then when you receive knowledge, this is another school. This is a school of soul, which means subject of universal life. Now we must complete this school. We must go from grade to grade and we must go higher. And along the way, we're having quizzes and tests. And these are the things that come to us that we must overcome in our life. And each of these quizzes and tests we must pass so that we can progress in this knowledge. And I was thinking that it's funny, but I'm thinking, and then there's the final exam, the very final exam at the end of our life. Well, where we should, when we leave this body, we should exit this body, remembering holy name. And how do we do that? We do that because we've done so much satsang and service in our life that's what comes to us at the time of death. We hope that comes to us and we exit the body the correct way. And that's actually the final exam in our life, is when we leave this life. But during this time, there's no reason that every day can't be a good day for us. It's the way we think of things. We might have to change our mind. If you get up in the morning and you say, it's cold outside, I have to do all these things, it's just a bad day, I'm going to have to take care of these things, then you're doing a self-fulfilling prophecy here, actually. You are starting out the day negative already. and things won't go as well for you during the day. But if you start out your day feeling very positive, it's a beautiful day. I'm going to get this done. It's a wonderful life. If you think that way, then your day will be good. But that day has to start out with meditation. If you meditate in the morning, and you're used to meditating in the morning, and you don't meditate one day, you know that you don't feel right. Something is not right about the entire day. It doesn't go, you just feel that something is missing. It's not right through the entire day what you're doing. So we must really, really try so hard to stay within this knowledge and to meditate. And whatever we have to do that takes us there, changing our environment, whatever it is, that's what we must do to progress in this knowledge. So we've been given everything, and it's our fault if we don't. And I think about that. I can't blame anyone else in my life for anything because I've been very, very fortunate in this life. I have this knowledge. One day, sometimes we start to feel sorry for ourselves a little bit in life. It's only natural that we do sometimes. But I was thinking every time I start to feel sorry for myself in the slightest, I say, no, I'm not going to feel sorry for myself at all because I have this knowledge. And I am the luckiest person in the world because I have this knowledge. And so every single Premi is the luckiest person in this world because we have knowledge. And so what we can do every day is to be positive and to go forward in this knowledge. Whatever you need to do for encouragement is what you should do. It's been given the example of the tortoise. And when any trouble comes to the tortoise, what does it do? It draws its limbs inside and it has its shell to protect it. And we are the same way. We have this knowledge to protect us. The whole world could be against you. The whole world, everyone in the whole world. But if you are with God, then you are protected. Everyone is protected by God. If you meditate and you do what is correct and you go forward in your life, we have that. And we want to please God, and we want God to be with us at all the time. Everyone in their life wants love. It's so important to us. We want acceptance and love. And how do we get that again? Every single thing comes back to this knowledge. And we are fortunate, so fortunate, because look at all the satsang we're getting. Look at all the company we have. Everything in this whole program was made possible by the Premis. Now, I'm a terrible tech person, but everyone has made this possible, giving you instructions and helping you. I really didn't have to do hardly anything because everyone was helping me and everyone was working together. And look what has happened. And all of this is due to Maharaji. Everything is from him. Everything has been made possible that we're doing now and having is from him. And so I don't know what else I can say. I think that maybe I've taken up enough time now, but it's very important. And so every action that we do in life, and I hope everyone is encouraged because that's what satsang is for, to encourage one another and to inspire us to meditate. And that's what we must do. We must go forward. I can't say that enough. And, I keep coming back to that, but everything is this knowledge. There's nothing else. I don't know what you do for enjoyment anymore. One time this rich man said to me, this very, very rich man who had knowledge, he said that this man could have anything, go anywhere, do anything. And he says, what would I do in the world if I didn't have knowledge? He said, there's nothing in this world for me if I didn't have knowledge. Now that's a person that can do anything, but it is an individual thing. No one in this world can meditate for you. They can't eat for you. They can't exercise for you. There are a number of things. No matter how wealthy you are, you might be able to pay somebody to do something for you, but they can't eat for you and they can't meditate for you and they can't do certain things. That's an individual thing. And our relationship with God is an individual thing as well. So it all is due to our effort. How we progress is all from our effort. There's nothing else that can take us forward in this life. And so I think that maybe I've taken up enough time. And so I thank everyone. I thank everyone for everything that was made possible for this program. And I hope I didn't bore you and run on and on. And I thank you so much. So, Jay Sachnan to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda ji. That was really insightful and really very encouraging. And as Brenda ji has mentioned the importance of meditation, the importance of satsang, and how Guru Maharaj ji has united us and given us this platform to unite and have the satsang and experiences from such wonderful speakers and by Mahatma Ji's. Thank you so much. So I remember one thing, Sri Jagajani Mataji once said, just as the success of shooting and shooting a target or a photo depends upon holding the gun or the camera steadily, similarly, the success in meditation depends upon how steady and focused our mind is in meditating upon the holy name. So, moving forward, I would like to invite the participants of the next devotional song. Uh, the song name is the Heal the World by Sudhar Chetri ji, Vidhan Chetri, Ujjwal Chetri, Nima Chetri, and Vishal Sharma and Shikha Thapa from Shillong. So, can we have the next devotional song, please? Thank you.
There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love. And this place could be brighter than tomorrow. And if you really try, you'll find there's no need to cry. In this place, you'll find there's no heart of sorrow. There are ways to get there if you care enough for the living. Make a little space, make a better place. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better space for you and for me. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me. We could fly so high, let our spirits never die. In my heart, I feel you are all my brothers. Lead a world with no fear. Together we cry happy tears. See the nations turn their shores into plowshares. We could really get there if you care enough for the living. Make a little space to make a better place. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better space for you and for me. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We are saving our home life. It's true, make a better day, just you and me. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving.
Thank you so much, everyone, from the Shillong. This song was by the team from the Shillong. And the song said, "We are the world and we are the children." So we are the children of the Almighty, and we have to make this world a better place to live. Moving forward, I think Pratima ji is back with her speech. So can we have Pratima ji once again? Good. Is from the place, the town, which is very well known for the growth of tea and wide ranges of Kanchenjunga. I think you must have guessed the place. Yes, I'm talking about Darjeeling, India. So she worked as an assistant professor in the Department of Economics at Balurghat College, West Bengal, India. She is also associated with Manav Uttan Seva Samiti since her childhood, as her parents were the followers of Manav Dharam. She also is in Manav Seva Dal. She is also a member of Manav Seva Dal in Manav Uttan Seva Samiti since more than 10 years now. And she is also involved in different sevas since her childhood days. So I welcome Dr. Pratima Chamling Rai. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rachana ji, and I'm really sorry and extremely sorry for the inconvenience that is created because of the poor network. This is the advantage, and we are living in an uncertain world. This is an example of, I think, the uncertainty that we are facing every day in our life. So, with your due permission, I would like to start all over again. We have already I've already extended my namaste to all our brothers and sisters and everyone those who have joined with us in this session of the Universal Revival Journey organized by Manav Uttan Seva Samiti. And as I was talking about the uncertainty or the pandemic situation that the world is facing today that has affected the whole world economy, and we can see the trade, the business, education system, or be it the tour travels, everything has been affected and it has come to a state of a pause. And we are passing this dark phase just with the hope that everything will be fine soon. The world will be healed again, as we was listening to the beautiful song sung by the youths of Ceylon, and we will be back to the normal life that we were living before. And being born as a human being in this world, we all dream of achieving a safer, a beautiful, an enlightened world. But how is it possible? There arises a question. Now, in my opinion, an enlightened and a beautiful world will be created only if we have education with a value system. And this education with a value system is possible only through spirituality. Being a teacher of economics, we have the two basic concepts in economics, that is the economic growth and economic development. Now, when we talk about economic growth, as I was telling before, there is only increase in the income. And when we talk about economic development, there is increase in the income along with the all around development. So now what happens is when we have just education, we will just have the economic growth or we will just gain the knowledge. But when we have economic development or the education with value system, what happens is we will have knowledge along with all around development. All around development means social, economical, emotional, mental, physical, all around development. So that is the necessity for the creation and achievement of a beautiful, a safer, and a happier and an enlightened world. So here lies the importance of spirituality. So looking upon the situation today, I would like to extend my talk on the importance of spirituality or the spiritual knowledge in our daily life and also during the times of pandemic. Now, from an ideological view, we know that we have a very limited control over the world outside, whereas we have an unlimited control over the world inside. So it is time to focus on what we can do rather than what we can't do. You know, Like there are so many things going in the outside world which is totally out of our control. We have no control in the outside world, but we know that we have control over our inside world. So now, practicing spiritual wellness like prayers, like yoga, like meditation, we can really improve our health, and along with the human values like love, compassion, forgiveness, we can attain the state of calmness and stillness, which is the very need of an hour. So, now talking about what really spirituality is, in my opinion, spirituality is the sense of connectedness to self, to others, to the nature, and to God. Like spirituality gives us the sense of purpose and meaning of what life is really about. And in the absence of spirituality, we will have many difficulties in understanding the real truth of life. It is also a tool which can be used in our daily aspect of life because it makes our life more ethical and beautiful. But we need to understand that it is not a magic that will change a life in a blink of an eye, because it takes time and also depends upon the person how he takes that spirituality in which way. So now sometimes we make a mistake by judging others. We say that this person is a spiritual person, he is spiritually aware, but we see no any kind of positive changes in his life. But the thing we need to understand and we need to remind ourselves is that only I have the control over myself and you have the control over yourself. So we don't have any right to judge any other person or compare ourselves with any other person. And this is only possible if we have a spiritual knowledge. Sometimes we are affected by the opinions kept by the others. They say that you are a good person, we'll be happy. And sometimes they say you are a bad person and we'll be unhappy. So this kind of external forces affect our life. But if you have a proper spiritual knowledge, then I bet that we will never be affected by the external forces. And this is the power of spirituality. Like spirituality has different aspects. It helps us to recognize our full responsibility. It helps us to understand the meaning and the purpose of life. It also helps us to be happier from within. So now, all in all, we can say that spirituality, it helps us to take care of our soul along with the care of our body. And if we are guided or inspired by a greater purpose of spirituality, then our mind expands every direction. Our thoughts, it breaks every boundaries, and our consciousness, it transcends limitations, and we will find ourselves in a better and a wonderful place than before. And we will be able to discover ourselves much more better than we have ever dreamed of ourselves. So this is the power of spirituality. Now, during the time of COVID-19 pandemic, what we have experienced is that we have stayed indoors for such a long period of time, away from our loved ones, our families, our friends. Now, what happened is many people, they went through mental health problems. They were facing loneliness, they were frustrated, they were stressed. But in my case, since I have the knowledge, the spiritual knowledge that is given to me by the spiritual master, His Holiness Sadhgurudev Sri Maharaj Ji, I was able to keep myself in a balanced way. I was stress free. I was so much engaged in the regular attending the virtual satsangs organized by Manav Uthan Seva Samiti, and also practicing my mindfulness with spirituality. I was able to pass those lockdown days in a very proper way. But many people, they had personal problems, they had financial problems, they had so many professional problems. Because of that, they had many they had to face mental health problems. But if we had a proper knowledge of spirituality, then we will never be able to face this kind of problems. And perhaps I say that the opportunity to look inwards when we could not go outside was a golden opportunity in disguise for all of us. And yes, we could adopt a strategy of encouraging the spiritual behavior with with human values like love, compassion, and other activities like art, like creativity, exercise, humor, and also on the humor and all the human values to make a positive impact on an individual. And that would definitely have a positive impact on the overall quality of life of a person, thereby increasing his self-confidence, making him less stress, and also achieving the overall health and happiness. Now, there comes a question of how spirituality helps us in our daily life. Now, when we progress spiritually, what happens is we have control over our mind and our emotions. That is very helpful for every one of us. And when we have the spiritual knowledge, we'll have the ability to reject negative emotions and negative thoughts. That makes us a happier person, more adjustable, more amenable, and more balanced. Like we will be lesser frustrated, less anxious, and also will be able to handle all the difficulties of life in a better way. So when we enhance the power of spirituality with sadhana, then the divinity, the divine change, it reflects in our entire perspective, and then we start from our thoughts to our deeds, we start to think in a better way, and all this becomes a natural consequence as we progress in a spiritual path. Now, talking about the knowledge, like knowledge we can get from the secondary sources like books, or we can get from the spiritual discourses, from the different spiritual leaders, or through different media sources. But the knowledge, until and unless we do not imply it practically in our life or experience it practically in our life, it will not be our property. It will not be reflected in our action, and it will not be fruitful to change our life positively. So, when the knowledge from any secondary sources, when we get and it apply it practically in our life, then only it starts being reflected in our karma, and then it will change our life positively. Initially, we will have difficulties in implying the knowledge that we have got and practically implying in our life, but slowly it becomes a habit, and then it comes to be our sanskars, and then we will be getting the positive results, and then we will change, or it will change our life like positively. So this is the transmission of knowledge into wisdom, and this is possible only with the spiritual knowledge that we get from the spiritual master. Now, what is the essence of spirituality? What is the essence of spirituality that we only get from the living spiritual master? Is the universal truth of life. Now, only the living true spiritual master will satisfy and guide us in the way of self realization, through which we convert or transmit the knowledge into wisdom. And today I'm being able to share my views and my experience with you all because of the spiritual knowledge that I got from my spiritual master. And because of that only, my knowledge I have practically implied in my life, and then I've experienced the power and the possibilities of spirituality that has in my life, and I'm being able to share with you all. So only the spiritual knowledge that we get from the spiritual master will encourage us to follow all the spiritual traditions with the human values like love, compassion, and forgiveness that will help us to have the neural pathways that connect to the endocrine and the immune system of a person. And when it gets connected to the endocrine and the immune system, what happens is we will be able to cope up with all the difficulties, the negativities, and the stress of life. And today we know that a lot of people are facing the problems of personal way, in a professional way, or in a financial way. But if we have true spiritual knowledge, we will be able to cope up with all the difficulties in life without hesitation, and then we will have a balanced mental health. Nowadays, we just focus on the physical health, we neglect the mental health. But mental health is very important to have an all around development of an individual. You know, like there is a saying, if you have a righteousness in the heart, you will have a beauty in the character. If you have beauty in the character, you have harmony in the home. And if you have harmony in the home, you will have order in the nation. And if you have order in the nation, then you will definitely have peace in the world. No, we are all praying for the peace of the world. We are all praying for a safer, a happy, and a beautiful world, and which is only possible if we have a righteousness in our heart. And this righteousness in our heart is only possible if we follow the spiritual master, or we have the knowledge of spirituality. So it is very important for all of us to become spiritually aware. You know, like the spiritual the talk shows like this organized by spiritual organized social spiritual organizations like Manav and Seva Samiti, where we discuss about the in-depth awakening, about self realization, self awareness, self consciousness for the seekers of the essence of life, is truly a step towards ahead in achieving a world which is very safe, which is very happy, which is very beautiful and enlightened. And the episodes of the Universal Revival Journey is doing an outstanding job by giving opportunity to people like us from different corners of the world who are following different cultures, speaking different languages, irrespective of caste, creed, and the geographical boundaries. We are all getting together, joining hands together to work for a mechanism that can build a very wonderful, a safer, and an enlightened world for everyone to live in and the children to come tomorrow. So it is in the way of building up a sustainable, developed economy, which is what we will enjoy today, and we will also enjoy tomorrow. The children who all come tomorrow will also be able to enjoy this world in a better way than us. So this is the thought of the Universal Revival Journey, and that is very praiseworthy. Now, we hope that every one of us, we will be spiritually aware, and then we will join together to and work together to build a spiritual world, which will be, everyone will be awakened, everyone will be aware, and everyone will work together for a building up of a better world tomorrow. Because there is always a saying that if you seek, you will find. If you knock, the door will be opened. But if you want the pearl that is deep down within the sea, then you need to pull off your sleeves and then dive down deep within the sea to take off the pearl. And if you fold your arms and stay in one place, then you will never be able to pick up the pearl that is deep down in the sea. So, this is a great opportunity for all of us. This human life is a great opportunity for every one of us who want to understand the real essence of life and who want to find what is deep down in the sea, the beauty of the pearl. If you want to see that, then we need to come forward and be spiritually aware. Not just the materialistic uh, knowledge is enough in order to have a all-around development. We need to be spiritually aware so that we can create a wonderful and a peaceful world. When we look at the flower, it quietly gives us the honey, it gives us the perfume, and when its work is over, it falls off silently without disturbing anyone. See the contribution of a flower, it contributes so silently. And we, being a human on this earth, we take so much from the world. We are busy taking from the world, from the nature, but have we ever stopped ourselves and thought that what we have given back to this world, because we have taken so much from the world, from the nature. So if we are spiritually aware, then we can have a moment where we can think that yes, there has to be some time where we can give something to the nature, because we have taken away so much thing from this world, from this nature. So when we are spiritually aware, when we are spiritually awakened, when we self realize, then we will be able to contribute something to the world and make this world a better place to live in. And I'm really hopeful that the virtual sessions like this, the talk shows like this, organized by Manav Uttan Seva Samiti, is really an appreciative work which will work forward in bringing up more youths, more younger minds in the creation and a building of a beautiful nation, so that we will have a beautiful world to live in tomorrow. So with this, I will not be taking much of time. I'm really extremely sorry once again for the inconvenience that I have created because of the poor network. And before I end up here, I just want to say that spirituality has a very important place in our daily life and in facing the times, the pandemic times like this, because it works for the overall development from the social, economical, physical, and the mental development. So we should understand the essence of spirituality and come forward and make our life more successful, because without the grace of God, nothing is possible in this world. And when we understand the essence of spirituality, then we will definitely have the grace of God, and with the grace of God, everything becomes possible. So, with this, I would like to pray for the peace of the world, and I'm really thankful to the core members of the Universal Revival Journey team for giving me this opportunity to share my experience. And I'm really thankful for everyone for bearing with me. And thank you once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pratimaji. Your words were really enlightening. And during this pandemic situation where world is locked behind their door, entire mankind on the earth was locked behind their own doors. These words were really valuable to understand how spirituality can help us in our day to day life and in the future. Without wasting any time, I would like to welcome our next keynote speaker, who is Mahatma Angira Baiji. She is going to tell us about how spirituality can make one's life better, and is spirituality making the living worthwhile? Can spirituality make it living worthwhile? And also, she will make us understand how spirituality and science are connected to each other. Thank you so much. About Mahatma Angira Baiji, I would like to tell all of you that she is a realized soul and is a disciple of Sri Satpalji Maharaj, spiritual head of Manothan Seva Samiti, Haridwar, India. She has successfully provided spiritual enlightenment for the past 3.5 decades in various parts of India, USA, South Africa, Kenya, New Zealand, and presently she is in Australia. Her main aim is to uplift the humanity by rendering spiritual discourses on the essence of all scriptures and teaching spirituality to the aspirants. Let us have Mahatma Angira Baiji on board. Thank you so much.
गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वर गुरुर्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। बोली श्री सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की जय। Dear brothers and sisters, thank you Rachna and this entire team of Universal Revival Journey. You all are doing very great work, join and contributing in this great work through this platform. This journey, the word for this platform, Universal's Revival Journey. The journey leads us to our purpose of life. Dear devotees, we all have to know our purpose of life. That is the real aim on this earth for human being. Today, we are all getting the benefit of satsang through this journey, but we don't have to just listen about spirituality or just listen about our prime purpose or listen about our true self. With listening, we need to realize what we are listening. We have to realize our own self and the spirituality has that power to transform human being into great human being. There is a power in spirituality through we can know our real identity. Through spirituality, we can know our real personality, Because most of the people, they think that this physical body is the real truth. Whatever we are experiencing in outer world, that is the real truth. But our saints and sages say again and again that our real identity is not this physical body. The physical body, the identity of this, which is given by our parents, that we all know that one day it will be destroyed. Because birth and death are associated with this physical body. It is perishable, it is changeable, and it is temporary. As in Gita, many times we heard that verse from Gita, that vasansi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grahanati naro parani. Just like person change the clothes, when the clothes get dirty or clothes get torn, we change our clothes. In the same way, this physical body also like a clothes, and one day it will be destroyed by death. But truth and spirituality is everlasting, unchangeable, forever, unbreakable, eternal, and person can feel and experience truth. Person can know the truth, and once you know and experience that truth, that is the real spirituality. Today we mix up many things. We think that spirituality means whatever we are getting knowledge through this type of speeches, whatever we are getting knowledge from reading our scriptures, whatever knowledge we are getting from many scholars, but our saints and sages say that spirituality is not something that we can read. It is not something that we can just talk about it. It is not something that we just watch through TV or something and we will be spiritual being. Spirituality is something which we can feel and experience. In our Upanishads, sages have shown that importance of spirituality in human life on the basis of their experience in great details. Upanishad, meaning of Upanishad is to remove ignorance and sit nearby divine, sit nearby God. It's called Samipya Mukti. The liberation, to get liberation in feet of holy soul, feet of great soul, to sit nearby him. It's called Upanishad, the meaning of Upanishad. In that context, I remembered the story from Chandogya Upanishad. It is about the time when Shvetketu, the son of Rishi sage Uddalak and disciple of sage Dhaumya, came to his house after getting education from Gurukul. He was 12 years old when he went to Gurukul. And after 12 years, he got education from Rishi Dhaumya and he came back. Here, he was thinking that now I have lot knowledge of many scriptures and my father is illiterate. My father does not know any scriptures. He didn't read or he didn't study that many scriptures. His behavior changed after he came back. His father was noticing that, because before that he used to bow down every day to his father. Now he didn't even give respect to his father, because I am more educated than my father. One day, sage Uddalak asked Shvetketu, do you want to study more or to get married? Because you are already 24 years old. Let me know what you want to do in your life. He said very loudly, once I win the assembly of King Janak, then I will decide what I want to do, or maybe whatever you wish for me, I will do that. But first, I want to win the assembly of King Janak. King Janak was very great devotee. He was very knowledgeable. He had that spiritual knowledge. Here, when Shvetketu's father Uddalak Rishi, after hearing such an ego-loaded words from his son, he was shocked and he didn't say any word, and he walked from there. Shvetketu also went out for his own fun. That Shvetketu's mother noticed that Rishi Uddalak is very upset, is looking very sad. She asked him, then being distressed, he said, I did not know. I don't know that this Shvetketu have true knowledge or not. He did not understand the heart of the Vedas. What Rachana was telling, that Baiji will talk about spirituality and science. Here, that part, Uddalak is telling to his wife that I did not know, I don't know that Shvetketu know the reality or not. He did not understand the heart of the Vedas. Now the word Vedas, Vedas are our ancient scriptures. Ved, the real word is Ved. We pronounce Vedas. But that Ved word come from Sanskrit word Vid. And Vid means to know. Vedas teach us to know. Here, Uddalak Rishi was very worried, and he said, when Shvetketu come home, send to me. I want to talk to him. After little while, when Shvetketu came, his mother asked him to go to his father. His father was in his study room. When he went there and he asked his father that, Father, did you call me? He said, yes, sit. And he started his work. Shvetketu was very impatient because without the knowing and understanding of the truth, without the knowing and understanding of the spirituality, you will never have patience. You will be always in anxiety. Your mind will always be restless. So he asked his father, why are you calling me? His father said, you don't know and you don't even understand the heart of the Vedas. Meaning of this, that you learn many scriptures from your guru in your Gurukul, but with that Veda means you don't know your own self. You don't know your real identity. You learned many things. I want to ask you one question, that by knowing what is not heard, it starts, will be heard. What is that thing? Do you know? What is that thing that it's without seeing, you can see that. Without knowing, you can know that. And what is that thing that once you know, then everything you will know. You don't need to do any other things. What is that thing? Even in Gita also, Lord Krishna said, "O Arjuna, if you know me, if you know the truth, then you will know everything. And also, you don't need to know any other thing." That is the real truth. That is the spirituality. Here, Uddalak Rishi told him, and that time, Shwet Ketu said, "I don't know about that, Pitaji. My teacher never taught me that. What you are talking about?" Then he took him out and he sat under the tree. He took some soil and he said, "Just see this soil. Once you know the soil, then you know any utensils made by clay. You know that this is the form of clay. If you see gold and gold jewelry, once you know the gold, then any type of jewelry, any shape of jewelry, you know it is made by gold. In the same way, that supreme consciousness, that supreme truth, once you know that, then you will know everything. You will know everyone, and you will know that each and every part in the world, or each and every part in the universe, that is that consciousness, that supreme consciousness. And to know that supreme consciousness, that is real spirituality. Here, Uddalak Rishi taught him that one small verse, Asi, Tatvamasi. If you break it, that word, it's called Tatvam Asi. You are true consciousness. You are supreme consciousness. Here, Uddalak Rishi told him that, "O Shwetketu, you are who you are looking for. That you have to learn." And we all have to learn that part, who we are looking for. We are looking for our own self. And if we look for our own self and go within and connect ourselves to that supreme consciousness, to that supreme truth, that is spirituality. For that, you have to work both ways, that science and spirituality. As an example, if I want to learn swimming, I learn all theories about swimming, how to go into water, how to hold my breath in the water, how to dive. All I learn, the theory I learn. But if I say, I don't want to touch the water, can I enjoy the swimming? No, because without touch the water, I will never have experience of swimming. In same Same in driving also. People have to give taste for driving, for theory and practical as well. Theory, we learn everything, how to drive. But as soon as car is in front of us, we said, no, I can't do. Oh, I scare of trucks on the road. I scare of that. Oh, I can't do this. I don't want to sit on the driver's seat. Then without driving, you will never have experience. Meaning of this, that is the science. Science and spirituality, it's similar in that way that we have to do both things. And that we only can have when we know that supreme truth. Here Uddalak Rishi is telling to Shvet Ketu about that, and he was giving example of bees. Now he took him to flower garden and he said, did you see these bees are collecting honey from different flowers? He said, yes, Pitaji. Then he asked, once bees collect that honey in his hive, will say that I am from this flower or I am from that flower. He said, no, Pitaji. Honey can't say that. Same time, Uddalak Rishi said, oh, Shvet Ketu, that supreme consciousness, which once you know, you will know everything. What I'm talking about, that once the individual soul merge into supreme soul, once that our individual identity will merge into supreme identity, supreme consciousness, then it will be one and only one. Then it will be only bliss. That part we all have to experience. Here Uddalak Rishi said, just like rivers merge into ocean, then they lose their identity, they lose their name, they lose their form. Once all rivers merge into ocean, then they don't think that I am Ganges or I am Yamuna or I am this. They merge into ocean. That means they one with ocean. The spirituality is that one with divine. And how we can be one with divine, one with that supreme truth, only when we know the essence and we experience within by grace of living spiritual master. Because just like when we activate our inner self, activate our consciousness, then only we can be one with God, one with divine. Now how we can activate ourselves? Just like in mobile phone, the SIM card. Until SIM card is not activated, we cannot talk or we cannot contact with with our near and dear ones. But as soon as the SIM card is get activated, we can talk to near and dear ones. Even we can see them through video calling. In the same way, when our consciousness get activated by living spiritual master, then only we can see our own self. We can talk to ourselves. Talk to ourselves means our real self, which is within us. And that's how Swami Vivekananda also surrendered himself to Ramakrishna Paramhans, because he told him that you are standing very far from me, but I have seen God within me and I even talk to him. We also can experience that same part, but through the spirituality, and for that we have to get activated by living spiritual master. For that we have to, we should take shelter of living spiritual master. I myself took shelter of Sri Guru Maharaj Ji, Sadgurudev Sri Satpal Ji Maharaj, who is propagating spiritual knowledge in throughout the world. And if anyone wants to learn that technique, anyone wants to connect to themselves, then take shelter of living spiritual master, because he only will show us our real purpose of life. He will teach us the real purpose of life. And once we know that, then only we will enjoy this life. Same time, we will have bliss within us. And with that, as our previous speaker, she said that many people have mental problem in this pandemic time. If we have the experience of ourselves, then we will never have that problem, because our mind will be under control. Our mind, we will know the nature of mind. Once we meditate and once we know ourselves, then we will know the nature of mind. Also, we can make this mind our slave. Then nothing will happen. No any mental problem or nothing will happen to us. Otherwise, every day we watch on the TV. Just yesterday, I was watching someone here in Australia, especially in this foreign countries. People get very quickly, they get depressed. In small thing, they get depressed. And the same topic were on the TV yesterday, that many, especially many ladies, they have lot of mental problem in this corona time. Although in Australia it's not that much of spread this corona, but still, why? Because we don't know our own self, and our mind is very restless. Little bit it goes off track, then same time it thinks negative. That is why we all have to learn the true knowledge, spiritual knowledge, and for that we should take the shelter of Sadguru Maharaj, shelter of living spiritual master. And in that word, I would like to conclude my satsang. And thank you very much. If I, as our program is little bit long, but if I also took long, sorry for that. And now we will have one small prayer. But before that, I will just hand over to Rachna. Thank you very much. Boli Sri Sadgurudev Maharaj ki jai.
Thank you so much, Baiji. That was really very, very valuable and enlightening. And the words that you said are really, really helpful to bring peace and spirituality in life once again in this pandemic situation for all of us, or maybe someone who is going through a mental health issue, or can be very helpful when there is no spirituality in life. The negativity comes in the life, because spirituality is a science without negativity. I remember once Guru Maharaj Ji said, what was the bliss, what was the joy which Buddha received, which he could not find in his palace, which he could not find from his wife, which he could not get from his son? What was the experience which Christ had? What turned Jesus into Christ? Very few people try to solve this mystery. So before we move forward, I would like Angira Baiji to please initiate the 2 minutes world peace meditation with us with a small prayer. Thank you so much.
त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव त्वमेव सर्वं गुरुदेव देव भक्तिदान मोहे दीजिए गुरुदेवन के देव और नहीं कछु चाहिए निश दिन चरणन सेव बार बार वर मांग हूँ हर्ष देव श्री रंग पद सरोज अन पायनी भक्ति सदा सत्संग बोली श्री सद्गुरुदेव महाराज की जय. I would like to ask everyone to meditate for few minutes. Close your eyes and concentrate on your breath. ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः Shanti. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Baiji, for this world peace meditation minutes. Thank you. Maharaji always says, know the one, you'll know the all. I'm sure all the aspirants here and whoever is present here must be wondering and must be having a lot of questions in their minds. So you all can email us the questions since we don't have enough time, and we are sorry for the short time span that we have for this session, and we cannot answer all the queries here. So you can email us on virtualsatsang2020 @gmail.com. Also, you can visit our website manavdharam.org, as well as we have social media pages, Manodharam on Twitter, Manodharam on YouTube, Manodharam on Instagram, as well as on Facebook. So thank you everyone for joining the Universal Revival Journey talk show. I hope you have liked this session, and we will wait for your valuable suggestions for any improvisation you think there can be. Thank you all the participants of the bhajans, all the members of Universal Revival Journey team, and thank you everyone for listening to us, listening to the speakers. Thank you all the speakers for the valuable inputs and insights for the future. I'm sure everyone will be enlightened with those words. Thank you everyone. Jai Shri Sachidanand.